Greetings. Today we're working with what we call walk-ins. So I have these beautiful states of consciousness that I work with, and I adapt, and then I lean into some of these energies, and they're super spectacular. So I'm able to facilitate with walk-ins and or other spirits that are coming through for guidance, spiritual knowledge, maybe some transformational experiences. But we're going to get started right now. So I hope you enjoy this information. So it's about the walk-ins. The concept of walk-ins refers to a belief in certain spiritual and metaphysical circles that a soul can enter or walk into an existing human body, taking over the life and experiences of the original soul. This concept suggests that an individual's consciousness or identity can be replaced by another soul, often with the intention of fulfilling a specific purpose or mission on earth. It's important to note that the idea of walk-ins is not supported by scientific evidence as considered spiritual or metaphysical belief. So here are some of the key points about the concept of walk-ins. Purpose and mission. The belief in walk-ins often centers around the idea that a higher or more advanced soul takes over the human body to fulfill a particular purpose, mission, or role on earth. This could include spiritual teaching, healing, or guiding humanity. We move into soul exchange. All right. According to this belief, the original soul may have completed its intended experiences or may willingly vacate the body to allow the incoming soul to take over. This soul exchange is believed to occur for the greater good of humanity or the individual involved. All right. The next one is conscious transition. Walk-ins are thought to occur through a conscious transition process where the incoming soul gradually integrates into the body and psyche of the host. This process may involve a period of adjustment and adaptation. Moving into amnesia and memory. All right. Walk-ins are sometimes associated with amnesia or gaps in memory as the incoming soul adjusts to the new body and experiences. Memories of the original soul may be unclear or suppressed. Moving into spiritual growth. Those who believe in the concept of walk-ins often view the experience as a means of spiritual growth and evolution for both the incoming soul and the original soul. Then we have one more. Variety of beliefs. Beliefs about walk-ins can vary widely among different spiritual and metaphysical traditions. I'm going to say that again. Beliefs about walk-ins can vary widely among different spiritual and metaphysical traditions. Some individuals may have personal experiences that interpret as walk-ins, while others view it as a metaphorical concept. So it's important to approach some of these things when we're looking at all this. It's important to approach discussions about walk-ins with an open mind while recognizing that the concept falls outside of the realm of established scientific understanding. Beliefs about walk-ins are part of the broader landscape of metaphysical and spiritual perspectives, and they can offer insight into how people understand the complexities of consciousness, identity, and purpose. However, these beliefs are not universally accepted and should be considered within the context of personal beliefs and spiritual frameworks. Okay. So that kind of gives us a base on what's happening, these walk-ins. And so it's been fascinating. So back in 2015, I had some of those experiences. And I think it was basically happened when I had an NDE back in 2007. And so, time is kind of like, time is just, it's just there. But it happened back in 2007, and then in 2015, in the September of 2015, I had the realization that I had a near-death experience, and I think that's when that walk-in energy came through. And again, back in September of 2015, there was like a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse at the same time. So a lot of energies were moving about. So some of these walk-ins, at the very beginning, when I was kind of processing, I came in with 2015 with many, many gifts, and I've turned off quite a few of them because it's too loud. Yeah, it's like too freaking loud. But I had a group of people back in Houston that were kind of helping me, processing me, and giving me more guidance about, what am I really doing, And so, and that's when the Akashic records happened too, where I was starting to have spontaneous, life scenes or death scenes. So all of those things were showing up. A lot of stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm a high achiever. I don't know. It's so fun. So we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of these walk-ins. And so at the very beginning, when I started to have these energies regarding some other spirits were coming through, it was about seven different kinds of states of consciousness that were coming through, and they were okay. It wasn't not a bad thing or anything, but we just kind of noticed that there's a lot of soul expression within my soul's purposes. I have no idea exactly how that all happened, but that was in 2015. The NDE again was back in 2007 with a car crash. And then I released from my body, and then I realized I thought I was gonna like be done, and then I woke up again. I came back into the body, and then I was, you just continuing to call the insurance company, going in to get a rental car and all of this. So I was in a different altered state, definitely, because I didn't experience anything. I experienced no pain, no suffering, but it was a pretty bad accident. So the walk-ins could happen like that. And so the NDE coming in with walk-ins could make sense that something else was kind of conspiring to support me. So some of the walk-ins I've had before, let me see where we're at with time. Okay. So one of them, I had this one person, and it was kind of like a scene where I was in the house where I grew up in Houston, and it was a dark night, and there was nobody else in the house. And then all of a sudden, I looked outside, and there was this really old blue station wagon, like really cheesy station wagon. And I was kind of looking out the window, through the window where the door is, and then I could see a person, a dark-skinned person, coming in and starting to walk towards the door. And I started noticing I couldn't identify if it was male or female. Could be androgynous. I don't know. And then on in the back of that station wagon there was this young boy, and he was probably about 8 years old or 10 years old, and he came to the door. So I invited them to come into the space, into my house, and it was a version of the house that I had back in Holly Springs. And then they wanted to go into the living room, and apparently in that living room there was all these pictures of Susie and like little tidbits about Susie. And so both the androgynous person, male or female, I can't identify. And then, but then they were just quietly, so everything was telepathic. So there was no words. In these experiences, there was absolutely no words. It's all kind of like telepathic energies. And so eventually that young boy was there. And then all of a sudden I noticed that that one young boy kind of split, and then there was another one. So there were two young boys looking exactly the same. All of these things are happening, and I'm kind of like leaning into it, like, what is it that they need to know? Well, I think they need to know a little bit more. And so I really haven't really processed that completely, but some of those energies are really freaking powerful, and they don't hurt me or anything. It's just kind of an experience. It's kind of a way of looking at life from a different perspective. I had another one too with another walk-in, and so apparently I was in like a food court at a mall, and I'm totally not into mall stuff because it's too loud for me. Energetically, it's too loud for me, and so I've been able to kind of process it since I've been up here in Scottsdale, because I feel lighter here than I was back in Texas. Anyway, so with this other walk-in, and I was just sitting out at a food court, and I had all these bags of clothes and stuff, and all these cool stuff, and I'm like thinking, this is totally not who I am, But anyway, this tall, dark man, dark skinned, beautifully, immaculately dressed, and he said Susie Jurvich, and I was like, whoa, it was like a beautiful dark-skinned man, and I'm like going, wow. And then all of a sudden I realized I got scared, and so I had to run away. So but I found later from another state of consciousness that that energy, it kind of scared me in a way. I'm not sure why I got scared, but I later found out that he had a higher state of consciousness, a higher state of awareness than I had, and so he could have been a guide for me, and possibly that beautiful man probably was still helping me while I was not available to kind of lean into it, you know. But that sometimes we think things are really yucky or whatever, or then you start finding that some of our guides are coming through. So even with these three, you know, these three beings that came to my house when I was a little kid, you know, they might have been my guides, and then this man at the mall probably could be some of my guides too. So sometimes I say yes or no, but I think these guides are helping all of us. I also had another one where I had one of the walk-ins that were ready to leave, and so I can visually see everything. I can visually see it and interpret, you know. So it's not like it's not just thoughts and words. It's like I could see it. I could see what they look like. So there's this one pixie girl, and she was super cute, and it was real sad when she left. Anyway, and I don't know what her purpose was, but she was kind of like a little pixie or a little trickster, or, you know, just a little sweet little thing, you know. So all of these things are showing up. So the more that we look at some of these states of consciousness and going into deeper states of awareness, that there's a lot of different things that we don't really understand and we can't really explore. But these walk-ins, I think for my own self, it's helping me, because these could be my spiritual guides. They could be my spiritual guides. You could say they're walk-ins or they're my spiritual guides. I don't know. Could be both, right? Anyway, so we'll see you soon, and namaste.